once again. I'm Dr. Richard Maddow, co-founder of the Maddow Center for Dental Practice Success, and welcome to this episode of the Dental Practice Fixers podcast, or as we sometimes call it, the Dental Podcast for Dentists. I think that helps us get a little bit of a better ranking. I'm not so sure. Our IT team told us that we need to refer to that every now and then. So in case you see that and you're confused, well, I am too. So that's my answer for today. But in any case, welcome back to the Dental Practice Fixers podcast. We're going to do something today in our mystery shopper calls that we've never done before. So you definitely want to hang on for that. It should be fun. It should be cool. It should be instructive, as they say. So anyway, something I want to talk about today is something that's really important that we kind of neglect in our everyday practice of dentistry. And it's when we need to tell patients something so simple, like they need a crown, or we recommend scaling and root planing. Sometimes we don't realize that even though it's simple and ordinary to us, it's a really, really big deal to our patients. And I'm going to use something more everyday, so to speak, something that could have happened to any of us to illustrate why it's so important that we always keep that in mind. But first, I do want to remind you that something else to keep in mind is that if you are not using Stacks for your credit card processing, well, how do I put this delicately? You're being ripped off. Is that delicate enough? Because your credit card processing company is charging you an overage percentage to do the processing. And Stacks doesn't do that. They just charge a low, flat monthly fee, which is why we've been using them at the Maddow Center for many years, several years at least. And you should do the same in your dental practice. We've recommended Stacks to dentists all across the US, and we hear only great things. So save money every month, pay a low flatly monthly fee, low flatly. I'm having trouble talking today. Pay a low monthly flat fee for your processing. And the switch is simple, it's seamless. You just make one call and it's put on autopilot. So to find out more, just go to maddow.com/save, MADOW.com/save. Okay, so again, how do your patients feel when we tell them they need a crown? Well, maybe this little story will give it some needed perspective. Now, last month, I got into my car and I noticed on the driver's side door, there was just a little scrape, or what appeared to me to be a little scrape. I don't even know how it got there. I'm not sure what happened. Could I have like sideswiped the pole and not have known it? I doubt it, but I guess anything could happen. Maybe somebody brushed up against me in a parking lot or parking garage. I don't know what happened, but it was nothing, just a little scrape on the door. So I didn't do anything about it. Kind of like when a patient has a little chip on their tooth and they don't do anything about it. But for some reason, one day I decided, you know what? I'm sick of looking at this thing. I'm going to get off my butt and go to a body shop near my home to get an estimate. So there's a body shop near my home that I've used before. Fortunately, I haven't had to use them in the last few years, but I revisited. I called. They said, sure, bring it in. I drove right through that big garage door, so I was inside for my estimate. Now, the guy there was really nice. I didn't know him. It looked like maybe there were a bunch of new people at the body shop. I don't know if it was new ownership or what, but I didn't recognize most of the people there. So the really nice guy came over and he said, I'm just going to take a bunch of pictures. You can go and check your email inbox because by 5 p.m. today, I'll be sending you an estimate. Sounded great. He was really nice. He seemed to know what he was doing, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So sure enough, about 4:59 p.m. and 59 seconds, I opened up my email and I looked at it and I thought, what the hell? This estimate was like 4 pages long. Now remember, my perception, which is my reality, is that this was just a small scrape on the door, but he had things to redo: a quarter panel, the rear door, the front door, the roof rails, something to do with the windows. I didn't know anything. And then the total, $2,231.88 to repair a little scratch on the door. And what do the windshield and the roof and the rear lamps and the rear bumper have to do with anything? I just didn't get it. I was totally floored that it will cost over $2,200 to repair a little scratch. So I'm thinking, you know what? Maybe it does need all this work. I have no idea. Maybe they're trying to rip me off. I have no idea. I'm certainly getting a second opinion. But what if instead of just snapping a few pictures and saying, go home and check your email box, he would have said to me, now I'm just making this up. I'm not a car guy. I might be getting the lingo wrong, but in principle, I think you'll know exactly what I'm getting at. What if he would have said to me after taking the picture something like, as you can see, the only way to get a perfect color match is to remove the roof rack and the molding. And though it might not be clearly visible to you, look from this angle, you'll see the scratch extends all the way to the rear panel. Now, of course, we're going to carefully cover your windshield so it doesn't even get a drop of paint on it. That's a really time-consuming process. And for the molding that we need to replace, and we do need to replace it, unlike all the other body shops in the area, we only use genuine parts. So it will be a little bit more expensive, but you'll be getting the best parts possible. This kind of attention to detail is why we're constantly ranked best in Baltimore. By the way, we should get started soon, because if we allow this to sit for any longer, it's possible that some rust will set in, and that will make the job even more complicated and more expensive. Now, granted, I just made all that stuff up, but I think you get the idea. What if he would have said something along those lines instead of just sending me out the door and saying, watch your email? So it's the same thing with our patients. They don't know anything about dental treatment on their teeth. We, do a little exam, we take a little x-ray, we say you need a crown, it's going to be $2,000 with the core. Now, the patient's perspective is it's just a little chip on my tooth, or it's just an old filling that's starting to wear out. So remember that when we are doing something for our patients, such as an exam, an emergency exam, an exam on a chipped tooth, whatever, and we tell them they need treatment, that to them, their perception is it's really expensive, they're going to flip, just like I flipped about my car. So take a few extra minutes and let them know, yes, it may seem like it's just a chip on the tooth, but there's an old filling here and it extends way beyond where that filling meets the tooth. And on the x-ray, I can see there's decay and bacteria under there. And we want this crown to be really solid and last forever. So these are all the steps we need to take in patient-friendly terms. And then maybe when you tell them it's going to be $1,500, $1,800, $2,000, whatever, they won't have the same response that I had when I got that estimate on my car. That's our lesson for today. Now, what am I doing after I record this? I'm going out to get my darn second opinion on my car. You think I feel like doing that? No. But the body shop, they didn't really bond with me. They didn't explain things. Maybe I don't trust them at this point. So when we're talking to our patients, let them know exactly in patient-friendly terms, not dental terms, what we need to do our job to the best of our ability, and why it will last for a long time, and why this is the best treatment you can get, and what the ramifications are of not getting it done. Let's explain all these things to our patients. Wow, that was a mouthful, but I think you get the idea. And by the way, I'd love to chat with you personally about what's going on in your practice. We can talk about things like how to present treatment properly, or why maybe your production and collections aren't exactly as high as you'd like them to be, or team issues you may be having, how to get more patients off the black hole that they fell into and back onto your schedule, all kinds of great things. You can schedule a chat with me. Yeah, I'll get on a Zoom with you. This is for practice owners only. Just go to madow.com/chat, madow.com/CHAT. Maybe if you want to get started in a way that takes it even further, we'd be glad to do a no-cost data analysis for you. You can just go to madow.com/numbers to find out what that is all about. Or, like this person I'm about to tell you about, you can send me an email. I reply to all my emails. My email address is rich, R-I-C-H, at madow.com, R-I-C-H at MADOW.com. I got an email a few days ago. I'm going to read it to you right now. It's from a Dental Practice Fixers podcast listener. It says, Rich, I really enjoyed the podcast, especially the secret shopper calls, but it seems like they're all to offices in the US. Can you call some practices in Canada? I think we will do better, or at least be more polite. With much respect, Dr. G in London, Ontario. Now, I'm not sure, Dr. G, how you know that all of our mystery shopper calls at offices in the US, but you are right. Maybe it's the accents. Maybe it's the rudeness. I don't know what it is, but yeah, well over 100 episodes, I've been calling practices in the US and not Canada. So thank you so much for pointing that out. Maybe it's the accent. Maybe we don't say South A and stuff like that. Or maybe we're not polite, because Canadians are so much more polite than than people here in the good old US of A. In general, of course, there are plenty of polite people here in the US and probably some rude people there in Canada. But it was a great suggestion, Dr. G. And I did that exact thing. I'm going to do some secret shopper calls to practices in Canada. As a matter of fact, I will tell you, these are to London, Ontario, where you're from, maybe even your office. I wasn't sure what call to do. So I thought I'd do one of my old favorites. You've heard it here a bunch of times on the Fixers podcast, and that is a dentist who's been told by another dentist, a former dentist, that they need a few crowns. I love this call because I think it kind of brings out the best or the worst in practices. The setup is great. I'm a patient. I want to come to your office. I know I need crowns. This should be the no-brainer of no-brainers that they talk about this a little bit and then offering an appointment to come in and see. It's one of the easiest calls, but I think one of the calls that that maybe fits this category best, because it really shows if the office is willing or ready or knows how to offer an appointment or not. So I'm not going to talk too much about the calls. Let them speak for themselves. Let's do call number 1 to an office in Canada.
Thank you for calling Dentistry. Today is Tuesday, May the 3rd. We are in the office but unable to answer your call. Please leave your name and number and we will get back to you as soon as possible. Please note, this voicemail does not accept cancellations or appointment changes. We do require 2 business days notice should you need to cancel. Thank you and have a great day.
At the tone, please record your message.
Okay. All right. I wanted to start with this one because, I'm always complaining that dental offices in the US do not answer the phone during regular business hours, and this is the easiest way to lose a potential new patient. Well, I was going to say I'm glad to see. I'm frustrated to see this is happening in Canada as well. Boy, that one really checked all the boxes, as they say. First, they gave the day, like it sounded like a computer robotic voice. It is Tuesday, May the 5th at 9:15 a.m. Not sure what's going on there, but as you can see, regular office hours. They said they were too busy to get the phone. Then they gave some BS like this phone does not accept messages or cancellations. This voicemail doesn't, which is kind of crazy. And then they said if you need to cancel, we need 48 hours notice, which, as you know, bugs me because that is telling the patient that if you cancel 48 hours and 1 minute before your appointment, it's okay. But it's not okay. So there was just so many things wrong with this. But the number one wrong thing is that I called during regular business, or maybe as they would say in Canada, regular clinic hours, and got a voicemail saying you were too busy to deal with me. Bad, 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 bad. Okay, let's go over here to Command Central to the next call. Hi, I've got a question for you. Do you do dental crowns in your office?
Crowns? Yes.
Crowns, yeah. Yeah, because I know that I need 2 crowns. My last dentist told me that, but I haven't gotten them done yet. How much is a crown? What's the cost for that?
Roughly $1,100-1,200 with lab and everything, depending on the kind of crown you get, porcelain but usually $1,100-1,200.
What do you mean with lab? What does that mean?
The lab makes it. We don't make them here, so we take impressions, do the prep, cut down the tooth, put a temporary on there, and then it goes to the lab, and the lab actually makes the crown for us. Is that what you mean? Like when you say crown, then, or are you talking a filling?
No, crown.
Okay.
No, I mean a crown, but I was
Some
just...
offices make them right there chair side, but we deal with the labs. The lab makes it, so you get it 2 weeks later.
2 weeks, I see.
Yeah.
Okay.
So you have a temporary on there.
Okay, great. And would that payment all be due at once? Is that the way it usually works?
Yeah, pretty much at the end when we cement. But I mean, we wouldn't be able to just book you a crown. I'd have to get you in and take a look at the tooth for crown, and we can't just book you for a crown. Like I'd have to have the doctor take a look first and
right,
or
I
get
understand.
like a referral from your office saying, this is recommended on a tooth so that we know what tooth and that sort of thing.
Okay, I think I understand. Thank you very much.
Okay, you're welcome.
Okay, bye now.
Bye-bye.
All right. Well, bunch of things to comment on this call, and I think you know what they are. But I don't understand when I asked the fee. She said it's $1,200 with lab, and I think the second call, I think the next call we're going to do said that as well, or one of the calls. I don't know why you have to say $1,200 with lab. To me, that's just confusing. Like, well, do I have to pay the lab? What's this lab? I don't know anything about the lab. Who's the lab? Where's the lab? Why's the lab? I don't forget the lab. I don't know. So again, just information that doesn't help anything. And then she said that some offices can do them in one visit, but we can't. Why would you ever say that? well, okay, I'm going to call the office. They can do it in one. As I said, it's pretty rare to lose a patient because you're not doing one visit crowns. But I think this office was trying their best to do it. Like, well, some offices are better than us. They can get you in and out in one visit, but we can't. I don't know why she would ever say that. Then she started moving in the right direction, which I really liked. Started saying, well, the best thing to do is to get you in for the doctor to do an examination. That way we can determine what we think, blah, blah, all the right things. But then didn't even come close to offering the appointment and just kind of brushed me off and hung up. Oh, Canada, US, I guess it doesn't matter where we are. Some things never change. Let's do another call and see what happens here.
Dental care.
Good morning. How are you?
Good, thank you.
Good. Hey, I have a question for you. I know that I need 3 crowns. I was told that about a year ago by my last dentist, who I'm no longer seeing. Do you do
Okay.
do you do crowns there?
Yes, we do.
Hmm. Okay. And what's the typical cost of a crown?
If it's just a crown that's not implant related and no core buildup, it is around $1,060 per crown.
Hmm. Okay. And a core buildup, is that something that could make it a different cost? I'm not sure what that is even, but.
Yeah, because if there's a lot of the tooth that's missing, then sometimes you'd need to do a post and core, and that is an extra expense. So it really depends on the teeth themselves. So, but I mean, if the existing tooth is intact, and then normally it's around $1,060. Or now it depends too if these are anterior teeth or posterior teeth.
Yeah, I think they're just regular teeth. Yeah.
Are they at the front or the back? Because if they're front teeth, then a lot of times the material's different. So again, that would affect the cost.
Oh, I see. I got it. Okay.
And did they say why the teeth need root canals? Or I'm sorry, crowns, have they been root canaled?
No, I think they're just some like kind of big old fillings that are, worn out, so to speak.
Okay.
Yeah. Hmm. Okay.
Yeah, well, the average price of a crown is $1,060. If they're very front teeth, then they're a little bit more because the material is a little different.
I see. So for the front teeth, would that be more like a cap?
They're crowns.
Crowns.
So whether
Okay.
you call them caps or they're the same thing.
Yeah, I know sometimes somebody smiles and you can just look at that smile and think, oh man, that's all caps. Kind of like an email from grandma, all caps. So,
Yeah.
but mine are back teeth, so we won't have to worry about that.
Yeah, if they're at the back, then yeah, for a crown, you're $1,060.
Okay, I think I understand. Well, hey, great. Thank you so much. I appreciate that you took the time to explain that.
Okay, no problem.
All right, bye now.
Great, thank you. Bye-bye.
Sure, bye. All right, well, first of all, I'll say, oh, Canada, exactly what I would expect. She was so nice and polite and just took her time with me and tried to explain things. Now, I don't necessarily like the way she explained things because she used some dental terms, post and core, anterior, posterior, all those things. Wasn't that great? I'm not a big fan of using dental terminology, asking way too many questions. Again, I feel like don't ask clinical questions, just get the patient in. But I certainly couldn't argue with her kindness and her politeness and her patience. I like the way she sang a little bit when I asked her the fee. She went like, oh, 1,060. That was fun. She laughed at my all caps joke, which, oh, that was good. 3 minutes this call went. We spent 3 minutes of each other's time, and she did not offer an appointment. So no matter how nice and polite and kind and patient someone is, if they just let the potential patient hang up, did I say the patient? The person is. If they just let me hang up without offering the appointment, it's all for nothing. Nothing, as we say here in the US. So I'm sorry, but this call did not end well. Let's do one more. Now, sometimes people ask me like, how do I get the numbers for offices that I call? Sometimes my team will just hand me a bunch of names and phone numbers. I don't know where they got them. Sometimes I'll just Google, like, dentist, Lansing, Michigan, or whatever. I rarely look at the office as much. I don't want to be biased or have a preconceived notion of the kind of office it is. But I decided, just for fun, I'm going to go on Yelp for this community and find somebody with really bad Yelp reviews and call them to find out what happened. So this is our final call. And I got to tell you, bad Yelp reviews. Let's see what happens here. I mean, really bad. Hi, I have a question for you. I've been told about a year ago by another dentist that I needed 4 crowns. Is that a service you provide? Do you do crowns?
Yes, we do. That's correct. We do.
Uh-huh. And how much is a crown typically?
Typically a crown with lab, and if you need a core as well, it's about, I would say, $16.66. So that's a rough estimate. If you don't need a core, it could be about $336 less. But
Okay.
typically, that's about the cost. Yeah.
So the very, very rough estimate is $16.66 and 66 cents.
Yeah.
Okay. And when you said with lab, is that like a separate fee I need to pay? Is that what you meant?
Yeah, because we send it to a lab to get. They make the crown at the lab, and then they send it back to us. So it can be 2 separate visits, or we do have a doctor here who does them all in one visit in the office, but it's still roughly the same cost.
Oh, so I could choose whether I want it done all in the same day or if I want to come back.
Yes, you can choose. Like, she has to take a look and see if it's something that she thinks that she could do here. If it's a more difficult one, she might send it to the lab. So just depending.
Right, right. I see. Okay. Well, hey.
So I would suggest, if you're interested, the first thing would be to come in and have a consultation with a doctor, and then they can let you know more about, because you were told by another dentist. And what was the reason that they said you needed crowns on those teeth?
I think pretty much they're just like big old fillings that are worn away. So I'm not using the correct terminology,
okay.
I know, but that was the vibe that I got. Yeah.
Okay, they're like large fillings. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, sometimes they do want to put crowns on those just so that the teeth are stronger and they don't break.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So, yeah. So if you did want to come in and have a consultation, and doctor can do an exam, we can definitely book you in for something like that.
Oh, I see. So it will be like a exam checkup kind of thing.
Yeah. So like just do an exam to check those teeth that you were inquiring about, or we could book you in as a new patient, and she could do a full exam of all your teeth and tissues and everything, and take any necessary x-rays, unless you have some recent ones that you've just had done.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Well, that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
I'll tell you what, let me get some stuff together with my calendar, and I will call back to let you know when I'm available.
Sure, yeah, no problem.
Great. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Okay, that was the office with the horrible Yelp reviews. Again, when quoting the fee, she said with lab. I don't understand what that has to do with anything. It's not like they're asking me to pay the lab bill. And then she kind of gave me the option of having same-day crowns too. Whatever. I love how the rough estimate was 1666. Like, if that's the rough estimate, what's the final estimate? 1666.663271.8 repeating? I mean, I don't get it. But besides all that, she was the only one that came even close to suggesting that I come in to have the doctor take a look. And she almost offered me an appointment. She wasn't very forceful about it. Maybe the polite Canadians again. But you got to say, she at least did something good when at the very end, she said the best thing to do is to come in. We can have the doctor take a look. They can take a look just at those teeth, or you can have a full examination. Would have been much better if she had said, we can see you Tuesday at 4 p.m. or whatever. But at least she let the patient know that, or the potential patient know, that the next best step was to come in to have the doctor take a look. So I'm going to say above average. I guess based on most of the calls we do here on the podcast, way above average. So that was fun. Thanks so much, Dr. G, for suggesting I call some offices in Canada. I'd love to hear from some other people about anything. So please send me an email. It's Rich, RICH, and Matto.com. If you want to save money on your credit card processing by paying a low, flat monthly fee, just go to Matto.com/save so you can use stacks like we do at the Matto Center. Thanks so much for listening or for watching if you're on YouTube. Until next time, I'm Dr. Richard Matto, co-founder of the Matto Center for Dental Practice Success, and I'll see you soon. Thanks. Bye.